losers of 5 in a row. This is a great opportunity for them to beat a ranked team at home and kind of get their season back going in the right direction. A young team for Leonard Hamilton. They've had some quality wins, but they also had some slip-ups as of late.
Florida State trying to avoid its longest losing streak in 11 years. Seminoles coming off a loss Thursday night in Raleigh-Durham against Duke. Meanwhile, Notre Dame coming off a road win against Wake Forest. As we take a look at the starting lineups, Jackson, Vasturi in the backcourt, Beecham, Colson, and August up front for Notre Dame. Meanwhile, Beasley, Bacon, Rathan Mays, Brandon, and Bell for the Seminoles. Rathan Mays off the screen. Beasley, another dribble handoff. Nice look inside to Bojanovsky, but couldn't find the handle. Mike Gray, the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the 2015 conference tournament champs a season ago. Had a great 2-year run of over 50 wins, a school record. In the front court, it's Beecham. Notre Dame, one of the more efficient teams. Actually, they lead the nation offensive efficiency-wise.
It's really going to challenge Florida State defensively. And this is a team and a program that's been built on their defense, and they haven't been as stout as we're used to seeing. It's a solid possession right there to start for the Seminoles. Good pressure and good patience.
Here's Dwayne Bacon, one of the most talented freshmen in the country, knocks down the 3. Boy, what a difference a couple of weeks makes. Kara, we were talking about it when Florida State was sitting there at 16-7 in a pretty good position, looking at a potential NCAA tournament berth.
The bottom's falling out a little bit, and granted, in the ACC, you're going to come across some tough teams on the schedule. Play Miami, you play Duke. But certainly their games against Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, winnable games that they just weren't able to pull out.
Bojanovsky with the block at one end. Beasley tried to dime it inside. The window a little bit tight. Intended for Monte Brandon, out of bounds. It'll be Florida State basketball.
You know, the ebb and the flow, you can chalk it up to the youth, and it's youth on the perimeter. Rathan Mays is just a sophomore. Bacon and Beasley are freshmen. And so there's an ebb and flow to a season when you have a young team. And they've got to try and find a way to turn this thing around.
Yeah, Rathan Mays playing his first year at the point guard spot. Maybe more of a 2-guard inside that frame. Certainly making the adjustment, trying to. Demetrius Jackson knocks down the 3. Jackson shooting 34% from downtown this year.
Well, they make you pay, and that's what makes Notre Dame special on the offensive end. You make a mistake, and they will make you pay. Every guy on the floor can score.
They really lay off Monte Brandon. Not much of a score. Beasley gives it to him. 8 on the shot clock. Rathan Mays goes glass and knocks it down.
That's a nice physical finish. I mean, Zach August was right there, and Rathan Mays was able to take the contact and finish it. That's a big-time play.
At 13 points in that loss at Duke. August inside, wheels to the cup, and gets it to go.
How good has he been? I mean, this guy's been really good.
15 double-doubles. And here come the Fighting Irish. Astoria got hung up, nowhere to pass it to. There's Beasley. Rathan Mays off the Bojanovsky screen. Beasley steps into the 3. Loose ball. And Colson comes up with it. Jackson going to walk it up. What do you make of the tempo of the game in the early going here? Kara, who does it favor, if anybody?
Well, I think Florida State wants to try and speed Notre Dame up just a tad. Notre Dame doesn't turn it over, second in the nation in terms of turnovers per game, but I think Florida State, they have to try and affect them, have to try and impact them, have to try and make them make some mistakes.
Colson, strong move inside, couldn't cash. And Beasley on the push. Bacon Swinging around weak side. Here's Rattan Mays. Lob up top. Bojanowski underneath. Good look from Rattan Mays. The Seminoles lead by a bucket. Extending their defense once again to the three-quarter court. Easily broken. And that's how you finish and make them pay at the other end, Karen.
Just good press offense right there by Notre Dame. You attack. A lot of times teams, when they're getting pressured, what they'll do is they'll retreat a little bit. Notre Dame attacked and found the matchup, the number situation, and made them pay.
Notre Dame in a little zone look here in the half court. Brandon with the jump shot. Boy, you talk about somebody that plays so many different roles for Florida State. Played so many different positions. Real glue guy. Florida State hasn't had problems scoring the basketball this year, averaging over 77 a game. Defending, as you pointed out, a little bit less proficient as they've done in the past. Colson misfiring. And that's going to be a foul against August.
It's been a really good start for Florida State, but Zach August of Notre Dame has kept them in it, and he's really good at facing up, using his athleticism to take advantage of the matchup, and then the back end of the pressure brings a little thunder on the dunk. All right, Jones, we've been doing this bracket practice all week.
I'm ready.
And we're now in the Sweet 16, and we had to bring out the big guns. We had to bring out the big guns to pick this, right? The big-time games.
Reveal. Show me what you got.
This is a Sweet 16 matchups. I've got Kansas beating Arizona, Bill Self's team, who clinched a share of their 12th straight Big 12 regular season title today. I've got Maryland out of the Big 10, a little old ACC foes, upsetting North Carolina.
So you're not going chalk then?
Not going chalk. I've got Virginia, Tony Bennett's team, advancing to the Elite Eight, and then I've got X. I'm upsetting probably some Notre Dame fans here. Notre Dame is in the Sweet 16, but I've got Xavier.
Hey, Fighting Irish might try and change your mind here against Florida State a little bit, influence you. Rattan Mays knocks down the long-range two. That's the two. Remember that Carol will give you her Elite Eight picks down to the Final Four in the second half of this game as Notre Dame turns it over. We were talking during the commercial about what the cause and effect of that three-quarter court pressure was, Carol.
I think it's been good early. I mean, Florida State delay and disrupt, right? That three-quarter court pressure. If you fall into a turnover, okay, but really the purpose of it is to make you not have to play against Notre Dame's offense the full 30-second shot clock. And Florida State has looked really good here early on both ends.
Leading by 7. This is a time rife with desperation for the Seminoles, looking to avoid their 5th consecutive loss. This talented team, but young team, an experienced team. They get another stop off the steal here. Rattan Mays. Beasley. Got it back, and he draws the foul.
Malik Beasley and his athleticism just attacks. And he missed that three-point shot, was able to get the offensive rebound and utilize his athletic ability. Beasley and Bacon, they are hard drivers. I mean, they can get into the paint and finish with their sturdy frames.
A couple of guys that met as rising juniors in New York City at an all-star tournament. Found out they were both considering going to Florida State University. He and Dwayne Bacon actually took their visit and committed at the same time.
What great energy Beasley brings. I mean, he brings tremendous energy to the floor every day. Smart player. I mean, his anticipation, his instincts. He's just a good-looking young prospect.
Shooting 39% on the season from downtown. Luger in the ball game. Mike Brey has a very short bench. Astoria and one on a strong foray to the bucket.
You know, this is a piece of Astoria's game that's really improved from his sophomore to junior season. And it's had to improve because he's had to take on more of a featured role in the offense. His ability to take players off of the dribble, get to the free throw line. You see, you look at his eye, he got tagged in the win over Wake Forest. Sporting a little bit of a black eye there.
Just a little flesh wound.
Yeah.
You know? 6-point ball game. Seminoles with the lead. Jackson guarding Rattan Mays. Talking about that short bench by Mike Brey and Notre Dame. Brey effusive in his praise for the leadership of guys like Jackson and Astoria this year. That was one of the challenges and question marks coming into the season, being able to replace some of the seniors that they lost. Another mid-range jumper in Florida State leading by 8. August underneath. Came up on the other side and rebounded by Smith. 10 Mays on the drive, and August packed it. It's going to remain Seminole basketball.
You see Zach August, he was frustrated about not getting a foul call on the other end, but hustled back and was able to help out his teammate, block the shot.
He had 26 points last year in a 20-point Notre Dame win against Florida State up in South Bend. Florida State's made 5 of its last 7 field goal attempts. Good screen set by Smith. Now he gets it. Isolated on the block. Rattan Mays from downtown. That one halfway down and out.
That was really good active help by Notre Dame on that possession, though.
Astoria. Olsen kicks it out. Corner jumper good. And Pfluger on the board. Hooker with a nice little show and go, but he missed everything. That shot aside, Hooker has been one of the real strong leaders this year for that Seminole team. Astoria. Jackson out top. 15 on the shot clock, plenty of time. Great patience offensively, but nothing to show for it with a missed jump shot by Matt Ryan. This drive by Terrence Mann. Up and down they go. This pace, you would think, favors Florida State a little bit.
Well, you see, Notre Dame's going to settle. I mean, if they don't have something early, they're going to settle. And we talked about this, preying on team's mistake. What happens there? Beasley goes for a steal. That's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Beasley goes for a steal, and now they get 2-on-1 on the backside with Colson scoring. So if you're going to go for something, you better be sure to get it. And Beasley doesn't get it, and Colson takes advantage. Nice finish there by the Irish.
Well, senior week coming up, Zach August. Boy, you can't understate the wonderful progression that he's made from his freshman year to now, Kara.
Oh, and you look
14 and 10.
You look at the leadership as well. I mean, they lose the 2 guys they lose in Pat Connaughton and Jaron Grant, and Zach August has played a big role in filling that leadership void that those 2 left. And his consistency has been remarkable in ACC play, one of the top centers in the league.
7 consecutive games where he's had double-figure scoring. Whistle It looks like one official called foul, one called travel, and it's like it's going to be a foul. Called a foul there on Demetrius Jackson with his leg. Unlike Grayson Allen, that one didn't appear to be on purpose. Allen recently getting a reprimand from the ACC office, trying to trip another player. Rattan Mays on Thursday. Here's one look at what happened last Thursday. Florida State taking on Duke. Allen for the second time this year. Watch the top of your screen there as Rattan Mays runs up court. Allen clearly sticks his leg out right there and trips him up. Duke won the game by 15, but no action was taken in the game. But afterwards, the ACC League office reviewing the tape, issuing a reprimand to Grayson Allen for the trip.
Yeah, I thought he should have been suspended the game. And because it's the second time. Grayson Allen did something similar in a game against Louisville earlier this year.
Yeah, repeat offender. And
then the second time, when the game was already was not in doubt anymore. His time's running off the clock, and what it is just it's just an immature move, is what it is. It's unnecessary.
You can hurt somebody too that way.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jackson knocks down the free throw. Demetrius Jackson, a 79% free throw shooter. His development this year on the court and leadership-wise kind of has its roots in the Under Armour camp, the elite camp that he attended this past summer out in the Bay Area. Steph Curry and some other pros played and competed with Melo Trimble, McIntosh from Northwestern, Whitehead, Seton Hall, and coming out of that camp as they work out the clock issue here. Coach Brey was really happy with the fact that he was told by many who attended there that Demetrius Jackson showed a lot of great leadership and played well too. Some of their pickup games, learned a lot from Steph. Of course, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
He just soaked that in, right?
He's the #1 guy to learn from right now, isn't he?
I saw Demetrius Jackson, like many players doing now, doing the two-ball dribbling warm-up drill, AKA the Steph Curry drill.
It's not the Steph Curry
Whether you
drill.
want to call it that or not.
People have been doing two-ball handling drills forever.
But it took on different weight and gravity and magnitude when Steph started doing it.
I guess so.
Okay.
I'm not trying to hate on Steph now, like everybody else
I know.
in the NBA fraternity. Goodness gracious, can we leave the Warriors and Steph Curry alone? Yes. They're fantastic.
It's coming in vogue, and here's what Demetrius Jackson was doing pregame, which has become part of his routine and so many others.
When you played basketball back in the day, you did two-ball handling drills, didn't you?
Yeah. Not as frequently as you see it done now, though,
okay.
To be honest with you. Not quite as much.
So you couldn't dribble real well then?
I wish somebody had told me about it. It might have helped. I didn't have all that YouTube and all that cable TV and Steph Curry all over my television doing those crazy things with the basketball.
See, I used to watch Pistol Pete's videos.
There you go.
You know, I had the VHS tape of Pete Maravich, who was doing those drills way back when.
No doubt. Bacon at the free throw line. Knocks down the second free throw. ACC Freshman of the Year candidate. Makes it a three-point ball game. As we pat the midway point of the first half, Florida State in pretty good standing here. Off to a pretty good start. Vasturia to tie it. August battling underneath, couldn't come up with a rebound. Back comes Benji Bell on the move. Took it right at the defense and scores it over Pfluger. Pfluger got back tapped and turned it over. Bell, quick trigger, got it. Leonard Hamilton going deep into his bench here today. And pressing the right button so far as it pertains to Benji Bell. August double teamed on the block. Had some problems with the length of Bojanowski there, Karen.
That's a lot of length to contend with. And you can tell August is a little bit frustrated. And for Notre Dame, you got to get your movement back. You got to get your pacing back in the half-court offense.
Florida State traditionally amongst the top defensive teams in the nation. Not quite this year. Bacon a little bit strong, but rebounded by the Seminoles, Monte Brandon. Bacon had it knocked away. Booker, Wojnarowski tried to duck in out of bounds off of Florida State. The Seminoles lead by 8. Timeout here in Tallahassee. When we come back on the other side, Joey Brackets in the bunker, folks. It's our ACC bracketology by Joey Lunardi. North Carolina, Virginia, Miami, Duke, Notre Dame. 7 teams going to the tournament as far as Joey Brackets is concerned. As we go live now to Joe Lunardi in the Infinity Bracket Bunker. Joe, I know you're not quite at DEFCON 5 where you're really hunkered down with all of that Red Bull getting your brackets ready, but what do you make of the 2 teams on the court today? How much higher is Notre Dame's ceiling right now?
Well, let's stick in the ACC, Joe, and you look at the big tilt tonight between North Carolina and Virginia. Does the winner of that game guarantee themselves a 1 seed?
Going on the line, shooting the bonus.
Yeah, no doubt, Joe, we'll be watching that. Hey, tell us, with all the losses amongst the top 10 teams this year, how is that going to impact the selection committee? How difficult a year does it make it for them, and unique a year does it make it for them?
Joe, when you say that and you look at trying to parse through the teams in the upper echelon, does that make the conference tournaments more impactful now in your eyes? A lot of times we're looking at conference tournaments for the bubble teams, but now does this make it more important for the teams at the top?
Hey, Joe, just last thing for us here. You know, one of the most talked about players in college basketball, of course, Ben Simmons of LSU. So much speculation as to whether they're going to make the tournament or not. What is the potential pathway for LSU and Simmons to make it, or is that pretty much gone right now? Yeah, great point. Hey, Joey, thanks a lot for joining us. All right. Back to the game. It's a 10-point contest with about 5.5 to go. Seminoles continuing to extend their pressure. August blocked, and Bojanovsky couldn't get the second one by Beecham. 8-point ball game. Bookert running the point, along with Mays and Bell. Florida State going real small right now, outside of Bojanovsky. There's Bell again, man. He has had the hot hand. Bell with 8 points.
How about Florida State offensively giving Notre Dame a little bit of taste of their own medicine? Spread you out, drive and kick, and knock down 3-point shots.
You can sense that the Seminoles are playing with a lot of desperation and urgency, and it's manifesting itself in their defensive effort. They come up with another steal. Wow, heat check. Bell from Broward County. Oh, man, he pulled. That's what happens when guys watch a little too much Steph Curry sometimes. Jackson with a mid-range. Dudes walk in the gym and they start feeling it. Beasley off the screen. Pass to Bojanovsky. Looked like the ball was knocked loose. And the crowd coming alive. Biggest lead of the ball game for the Seminoles. Leonard Hamilton imploring his team vehemently from the sidelines. Ryan with the floater. Rebound Seminoles. Bell fouled by Vasturia. And a timeout here in Tallahassee. Notre Dame a little frayed at the edges. Bell ringing them up when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Hot Pockets. Be hungry for more.
Seems like they're on a nice little upward trend right now.
Yeah, Damian Jones has gotten it together. He's certainly an all-conference type talent and has underachieved to this point in this season. A lot of guys on their team have underachieved, though. Riley LeChance had a fantastic freshman campaign and has struggled in his sophomore year.
Wade Baldwin had a nice week last week when we saw them win. 13-point lead for Florida State. And Leonard Hamilton has to be thinking, where has this team been the last 5 games? Rattan Mays with the mid-range. They lead Notre Dame by 15, folks. Been a quiet night offensively for this guy, Demetrius Jackson, so far, Kara. Why is that?
Yeah, I think, you know, Florida State's been able to disrupt Notre Dame's rhythm as Vasturia scores right there. And one of the things that they've done is on made baskets, they've had that pressure, the three-quarter court, but when they've been in man, they face guarding him and forcing other guys to initiate the offense, whether it's Pfluger or Vasturia, and just keeping them a little bit off beat on the offensive end.
Bell missing that time on the drive. Here's Jackson. Put it into overdrive, drew the foul on the ground prior to the shot. Well, folks, tune in later tonight for an ACC showdown in college hoops. Bryce Johnson, North Carolina, taking on number 3 Virginia in Charlottesville at 6:30 Eastern time on ESPN. And then in the NBA at 8:30 on ABC, Steph Curry and the Warriors taking on KD, Russell Westbrook and OKC. Warriors beat the Thunder back on February 6th at Oracle Arena. And the Thunder have given up a lot of points the last several games. They got to fix that porous defense of theirs. Well, you talk about Steph Curry going for what, 42 and then 51 against Miami and Orlando on back-to-back nights. That's impressive.
He's something
back
else.
to back.
He's something else, isn't he? So much fun to watch. And hitting half-court shots.
Oh. Yeah.
It's the best thing going in basketball right now, isn't it?
He's making Mark Cuban talking about moving back the three-point line. Vastoria fouled as Rattan Mays went airborne and careened hard to the court.
Just a nice little shot fake there by Vastoria. Yeah, Rattan Mays landing awkwardly.
He's going to come out of the ball game. Vastoria going to go to the free throw line. A 84% free throw shooter. Rattan Mays will sit down. He's got 6 points. Vastoria blows the front end of the one-on-one. Booker threw it up. And at the other end, nice play by Jarquez Smith. Boy, great poise that time by Booker.
Notre Dame certainly is not going to be on any list of top defenses in the ACC or top defenses in the country, but it's been too easy for Florida State here in the first half to score the basketball, that's for sure.
Olsen missing. August had it knocked away, but he was fouled in the process. We're going to call that against Malik Beasley, his second personal foul. It's going to send Zach August to the foul line. August coming off an 18-point, 12-rebound performance Wednesday night against Wake Forest.
Interesting little slate here for Notre Dame. Made this a 2-game road trip. They came right from Wake Forest here to Tallahassee. And this is midterm week up in South Bend. So Zach August, after putting the double-double up at Wake Forest, was sitting in the post-game meal room with his laptop getting ready for midterms.
Wasn't that long ago you played, Kara. How stressful is that when you talk about the demands of basketball practice, watching video for basketball, and studying?
Thank goodness I'm done with it. That's all I gotta say. Thank goodness I'm done with it. Because I used to get so nervous for exams, it would impact how I practiced the day I had an exam.
Great point. Smith battling on the boards, comes up with another possession. Bell on the drive and kick. Bacon with the pull-up. Got it. Bacon sizzling with 14 points, including a couple of threes. Under a minute to go. And the biggest lead of the ball game for Florida State at 18. And August quiets the crowd temporarily underneath. Florida State has done a nice job of closing out this first half. Half a minute to go here, and they maintain a 16-point advantage. They've been very precise. Come out with a lot of urgency in this ball game. Bacon off the mark. Beasley crashing the glass. Couldn't get the putback to go. Now with 12 seconds to go, Jackson's going to run it down.
I like the effort, though, there from Beasley, attacking the offensive glass.
Good defense by Bell. Vastoria. August with the tip. Smith with the rebound, and that's the end of the first 20 minutes. An inordinate amount of turnovers for Notre Dame. And this is the largest lead that Florida State has had at halftime all year. Can they close it out, though? There's 20 minutes to go. They've used some dead-eye shooting from Bacon. Coming up next, Chris and the crew in the studio with the Land Rover halftime report. Guys, everything's better with Bacon. the best half they've had, going all the way back to their game against Florida earlier this year. Eventually a win in Gainesville, but 20 minutes to go. Rattan, Mays, Brandon, Beasley, Bacon, and Bojanovsky getting the start in the second half. Brandon with a tough move, couldn't finish. Notre Dame #2 in the country with respect to turnovers. They don't give it away much, but they had an inordinate amount in the first half for them. Beacham from downtown. August flexing for another rebound in possession, and Jackson cashes with the three.
Yeah, I think August has got to be the center of this comeback because of his physicality and his ability to create extra opportunities like he did just there.
Rattan Mays turns it over. Here comes Jackson. Well, that's going to be the 6th turnover for Notre Dame. Rare miscue by Demetrius Jackson. Well, good news for the Seminoles. I didn't mention it earlier in the ballgame, but Leonard Hamilton getting a 2-year contract extension from the athletic department here, and the athletic director, the administration, all aboard in belief in the head coach. And why not when you're bringing players like Beasley on the campus?
And that's a welcome sign for Malik Beasley. He's really struggled. Never had that long double-digit scoring streak through the meat of the season, and has struggled the last 5 games.
Beacham with the loose ball rebound. Rattan Mays went to the bench during the last whistle. Subbed out of the ball game. August battling underneath. Finally controlled by Monte Brandon. Bacon up court. That's got to be a travel. I mean, he changed his pivot foot 3 times on the catch. He was hopping, Bookert was, on that 1 foot.
Just an errant pass there, and he's trying his best to stay in bounds, but that's the only foot on the ground. Can't do that, Booker. Can't do that, buddy.
Jackson on the wing. Beacham from downtown. And Bojanovsky clears. It's the Florida State team missing a couple of key players. Remember, Michael Ojo, their big man in physical presence. Phil Kofer also out. Oh, Bacon taking care of business, though, with a long 2.
And the degree of difficulty of some of the late shots this afternoon has been impressive. I mean, that's a hand in the face going left for a right-handed player. Long 2. That's a tough shot.
Beacham on the drive draws the foul. Rattan Mays watching this one. And that's the crash that he took and made going to the court earlier in the first half. Beacham missing the free throw. 61% foul shooter in the season. Florida State looking for their 17th win of the season. Heard from Joe Lunardi a little bit earlier. They've got to run the table here and get going quickly. They want to continue to entertain thoughts of making it to the NCAA tournament. Man, they feel like they can still get a lot done. Beasley off the mark, though. Out of bounds, it'll be Seminole basketball.
Notre Dame at some point is going to have to get some stops, and that's been their challenge. As good as we said Florida State has played defensively to hold this team that typically is very efficient on the offensive end, they have not been able to stop Florida State offensively.
Boy,
wow.
Taking in rhythm there, Kara. That guy is out there slaying today, folks. He's got 18 on 6 of 9. The picture of efficiency. And an 18-point lead for Florida State. This is the time of year you want to get your mojo back. August. Good active hands at the defensive end by Bacon. Beecham, well contested by Bojanowski. Made him change his shot a little bit. Here's Bookert with a pull-up three. Good hustle by Beasley, but it's back the other way. A 4-on-2 for Notre Dame. Jackson skied high and dumped it off to August. Boy, Demetrius Jackson took flight. The turbo really kicked in.
I thought he was going to try to dunk on the 7'3" Forrest Bojanowski. When he took off, it looked like he was trying to put one through the rim.
I look like one of those guys at the end of the bench reacting there for a second. He's as dynamic a point guard as you have in the country. Here he is again, the lob. And a foul going to go against Beasley. But a good foul because Beecham would have flushed that home. Timeout.
Dwayne Bacon has continued scoring here in the second half. Just a tremendous performance here by the freshman. We've seen it all season long from Dwayne Bacon.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the first ever GSF. It's the next expression of F performance from Lexus.
We put together a little bracket practice, and now we're down to my Elite Eight matchup. 1 versus 3, Kansas versus Maryland. I've got the Jayhawks advancing to the Final Four. And then in the second Elite Eight matchup, Virginia versus Xavier. And I've got Xavier, the X, making it to the Final Four, which would be the first appearance in school history.
Wow. Okay. So there's a look at what we've got left, and Jay Billis will pick the winners tonight of the Final Four there during the Carolina game. Carolina and Virginia tonight on ESPN. Which way would you go after that?
I would go Kansas, Michigan State in the finals. And in the championship game, I would go with probably Kansas.
Kansas. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you know what's
I kind
funny
of feel
about
like this is Tom Izzo's and Darnell Valentine.
Denzel,
that's
yeah.
just me. Denzel,
yeah,
pardon
Denzel
me.
Yeah, you know,
Darnell Valentine played for Kansas a long time ago.
The funny thing is in the bracket practice, as a bunch of our analysts, all week have been picking those games. In a year where so many top 10, top 5 teams have been upset, we ended up with the Final Four with 1s and 2s. I don't know that that's going to be the case when we get to the Final Four in April.
That would be a big departure from the trend right now.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Seminoles have pumped the lead up to 18. Darnell Valentine, wow, that's a real name from the past. Great hustle by Devin Booker, careening into the front row.
That's all right. I called Denzel Valentine Denzel Washington in the studio the other night. So just one of the best players in the country. You think we get his name right? Goodness gracious.
I remember Darnell Valentine, a great player with Kansas back in the day. Talking about the 80s. Jackson, almost an offensive foul, and he traveled with it. Booker nodding his head. That's going to be the 7th Notre Dame turnover. Mike Bray's team, second in the nation with respect to turnovers, just 9 a game.
So just haven't handled Florida State's physicality very well today. I mean, plain and simple. They haven't handled it well. Turn it over at a little bit of a higher rate than we're used to seeing them. Turn it over. But they've allowed themselves to be disrupted on the offensive end of the floor.
Here's Booker out top. Jarquez Smith calling for it. Gets it on the block. Flew by August, but couldn't finish. Good move by Jarquez Smith. Notre Dame with that short bench trying to make a move here. Pfluger inside to August. Tied up but fouled in the process. And he earns a trip to the free throw line. There was a swarm of Seminoles underneath waiting for August on the catch and double teaming him, Kara. Their defense has been a real definitive cut above what it's been most of the year tonight.
It's the active help, I think, that I've been most impressed with. How early they are to the help side. You mentioned the swarm of players around August, and they've just been more physical, and Notre Dame hasn't handled it that well.
Terrence Mann coming out of the ball game, and Monte Brandon comes in. August at the free throw line. 64% from the stripe this season. Goes 1 for 2, but the Fighting Irish get another possession. Look, it almost ripped him, and that's going to be a foul against Notre Dame. August gets called on the hook.
Zach August is not very happy about this call, but he absolutely hooks right there. You see the left arm.
Yes.
And that's a good call. And he's been frustrated, and I can see why he's frustrated, but you can't allow that to impact negatively what you're bringing to the team, because if Notre Dame is going to come back in this game, it's going to be with his ability and his force on the inside.
Brandon cross court to wide open Bell. Bell ringing him up. A 20-point Florida State advantage. Still bringing the heat. Beecham. Colson kicks it out to Jackson. 8 on the shot clock. Good defense by Smith, but a better shot by Demetrius Jackson.
Plenty of time left for Notre Dame in this one to come back. But you look at Benji Bell, a guy that averages just 3.5 points a game. He's raining threes out there. 11 points for Benji Bell off the bench.
Down these Jays for Florida State.
I might be willing to eat some meat if this guy keeps playing like this. Good Lord, Dwayne Bacon, just one of the fantastic freshmen here at Florida State. And you look at this afternoon, I love the pace that he's played with. I love how efficient he's been from the floor, and then passing the basketball as well. I mean, he's setting up his teammates. He's had a great performance. And you look at that 6 for 9, the efficiency for Dwayne Bacon, to me, is what stood out.
When you look at the Freshman of the Year candidates in the ACC, he's got to be amongst them. The air ball that time from Bell, Beasley amongst them as well. Ingram at Duke. How would you rate maybe your top 3?
I think Ingram's #1. I think he should be the ACC Freshman of the Year, particularly when you look at conference play. I mean, he's averaging 18 and 7 in conference play. Duke, one of those teams that's vying for the ACC regular season crown. So I think he's the #1 guy. But certainly Beasley and Bacon are right there behind Ingram.
On cue, here's Bacon. And rebounded by August. That's his 15th rebound of the ball game, tying a season high. Beecham on the wing. Boy, Demetrius Jackson getting no sliver of daylight today. Made something out of nothing. But he has worked for every bucket that he's gotten today, Kara. Jackson, 4 of 7 from the field.
I think we got to credit Devin Booker for that. He has been the principal guy guarding Demetrius Jackson.
Dribble handoff, Booker behind the handoff. It's that type of day for the Seminoles, leading by 18. Booker with 8. Florida State has been able to keep Notre Dame at more than arm's length. Boy, Jarquez Smith with a long reach. Made August change that shot. Ran Booker off the three-point line. You know, this Florida State team, last couple of days in practice, you'd think that they might be down, maybe pointing fingers at this time of the year, having lost 5 straight, but they've been a very loose group, and they've had some really good practices. Very enthusiastic in their approach. That foul going to go against Monte Brandon. Leonard Hamilton pressing all the right buttons today in Tallahassee when we come back. for an ACC showdown in college hoops. Bryce Johnson, number 7, North Carolina, taking on number 3, Virginia in Charlottesville. 6:30 on ESPN, then NBA action at 8:30 on ABC. Steph Curry and the Warriors at the Thunderdome taking on KD, Russell Westbrook, and OKC. Seth Greenberg in the game doing a great walkthrough on offensively how best to go against and attack that pack line defense that Tony Bennett and Virginia play in the half court. Beecham from downtown got it. 15-point ball game as we approach the midway point of the second half. Nice look inside to Jarquez Smith, and he draws the foul. You know, for the last couple of years, Kerr, it's been interesting to watch Florida State, Leonard Hamilton, Stan Jones, Jacob Ridnour, the rest of the guys on the staff remake their offensive identity to the point where now they're scoring the points that they want to score and increase their offensive efficiency from a couple of years ago. But how much of themselves do you think they've lost at the defensive end?
Well, certainly this year with the injuries to Ojo and Kofor, they lost a lot of their physicality. They became more of a finesse team. So driving, dribble handoffs, attacking the basket, really fitting it to the offense to your best guys, which have been Bacon and Beasley. And, you know, I think more so than that they've lost it, it's the fact that they're so young. You know, they don't have the stout defensive teams that they've had in the past because of their youth. I think more than anything, I don't think they're de-emphasizing it. I think it's just a function of their youth.
Great point. And I think if this group is back next year, they're going to be a real threat to go deep into the ACC or high in the ACC standings. That's a long time away from now, actually in the future. Ball out front. Smith with the punch. That's pretty good offensive execution. Great ball and player movement resulting in the Jarquez Smith slam. Florida State with 64 points already. Good closeouts on defense. Boy, several times they ran Notre Dame off the three-point line and forced an extra pass. A lot of guys touched it on this one.
This has been an issue for Notre Dame really the whole game, and it's defending the ball screen. It's after the ball screen happens, you get a hard roll and the dunk, and nobody picks it up. And so when you have the court spread out and Jarquez Smith is just rolling hard to the basket, it's hard to find out help side who is the assignment, because what's Florida State been doing all game long? Hitting threes. So you're in quite the quandary on the weak side as a defender when the guard is rolling high. It's a ball screen action, and as we start to roll it, it's spread. See, Vasturia is spread. August has to worry about the player coming off of the ball screen, and so he has to attend to that. And now all of a sudden you've got a guy with a free run to the basket. And I thought Florida State missed a couple opportunities in the first half to get that roller. Just because of the way Notre Dame was playing that ball screen. They were hedging a lot in the first half. I think Mike Brey is trying to go through now more in the second half to combat and not allow them to get that. But that's been the bad part about Notre Dame's defense, is handling the ball screen action and the rollers out of it.
Interesting. And Jarquez Smith certainly making himself available, calling for the ball several times in the half court here in the second half.
So just pay attention and see how Notre Dame guards ball screens and what problems present themselves. And you see now they're going to a zone, and they did that in the first half as well. It kind of takes away the ball screen action.
Smith with the jump hook. Brandon crashing glass, couldn't come up with it. Notre Dame down by 18. Vasturia with a sweet move, but couldn't cash. Bell cross court, extra pass, Bacon on the drive. Whistle and a foul on the drive. Well, Bacon has had the whole box of tricks working here today as Beecham checks back into the ball game for Notre Dame, as does Terrence Mann. Brandon gets a breather. And so does Demetrius Jackson for the Fighting Irish. Florida State trying to atone for a blowout loss last year out in South Bend. Bell with the hook. Smith kept it alive. And he comes up limping. That's going to be another Notre Dame turnover. That's their 9th of the game, tying their season average with 8.5 to go.
Somebody's got to go get this. I mean, as soon as you see your 5-man dribbling up the court, I mean, it should be like fire drill, flashing lights. Like, this is not what we want happening right now. Please, somebody go get the ball from him.
You're talking about a guard sprinting towards him and taking it from him?
Should be. Now, remember, Demetrius Jackson isn't on the floor. And so, but somebody should see that, go and get the ball out of his hands.
Booker from downtown, that one way off. And Notre Dame basketball down by 18, 8:12 to go. They're at the Donald Tucker Center. Austin Torres checks into the game for the first time for Notre Dame. Beecham on the drive. Bojanowski with the jack. Wow. Bacon had it knocked out of bounds. It'll be Florida State basketball. Big Boris, the last line of defense. Saying it with his chest today, folks. All right, Chris, back here, Kansas winning the regular season title again. Oklahoma losing in that Battle of the Red River against Texas today.
How about this for Shaka Smart in his first season at Texas? 4 wins against top 10 teams. That ties a school record. He's 4-2 against the top 10 this year. Certainly playing in the Big 12. You get those opportunities this season to play those top 10 teams, but Texas is a team that's starting to gain a lot of confidence, and they sure don't lack for talent on that roster.
Man at the free throw line for the Seminoles. And what about Vanderbilt up 4 as we speak here against Kentucky at home? It's a team that at times has been very perplexing. We've watched them pretty much all season, Kara, doing a lot of the SEC, and when they come out and play with immediacy, they're as good as anybody.
They don't have a shortage of talent on their roster either. You know, I think chemistry has been an issue for Vanderbilt. I think consistency. They just had some guys that flat out underperformed this year.
Mr. Davis starting to make some shots has certainly helped. Baldwin doing a nice job at the point. And folks, on Big Monday presented by Delta, we started the ACC at 7 Eastern. Syracuse and Chapel Hill to take on Bryce Johnson and number 7 North Carolina at the Dean Dome. Then we head to the Big 12 for another marquee matchup when number 2 Kansas takes on Shaka Smart's Texas squad at 9. Both games on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the app. Benji Bell off the Bojanowski screen. Put it down to the block to Bojanowski with that jump hook. Boy, that's a pretty sight if you're Leonard Hamilton. Up by 20. This is the Florida State team that was 16-7 a couple of weeks ago. Asturia. Great active hands by Benji Bell. 3 seconds to go on the shot clock, so Fighting Irish going to have to get to work in a hurry here. What are you thinking here, Kara? What do they run? Who do they give it to?
I try to get it to Jackson.
There he is. Couldn't get it off in time.
Yeah, that face says it all, doesn't it? With Mike Brey. I am stunned at how much Notre Dame has allowed Florida State to affect them. I didn't see this game going like this. I didn't see
Florida
this.
State's defense, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Still so much to be decided in the ACC. There's a log jam up near the top. Bell missed the left-handed layup. Great hustle by Florida State, as well as Pfluger. There's a look at the standings up top. Miami a half game back at 12-4 of North Carolina. Of course, North Carolina taking on Virginia tonight. That game on ESPN.
Those are the top 6 teams in the conference, and what's important here down the stretch is the double bye. And the top 4 teams in the ACC get the double bye in the ACC tournament. So this loss is damaging for Notre Dame's hopes. Certainly, they could still be in the top 4. But
boy, what about Benji Bell striking a pose with that follow through? And the Seminoles playing like they belong in the top part of the ACC, at least for an afternoon. 23-point lead, and one of the highest, most efficient offensive teams in the country held to 46 points. Well, the ball really going side to side well, isn't it?
I'm telling you, the ball movement for Florida State, I think this might be this is the best game I've seen them play all year.
Got 14 assists on 26 field goals. Jump ball situation, the possession arrow in favor of Notre Dame. One more look.
Well, that's 2 Notre Dame guys going after it, and August pulls it away, and then that allows Mann to get his hands in there and force the jump ball.
Under 5 minutes to go. Beecham got it. DJ Beecham coming off a 8.6 rebound game in that win on the road against Wake Forest. Notre Dame will at least get home. This is the last game of their 3-game road trip. Played at Georgia Tech last Saturday, then Wake Forest on Wednesday, and now here in Tallahassee.
I don't know if Mike Brey's waving the white flag here, or if he's just disappointed in his starters' play this afternoon and getting 5 bench guys in here. Of course, Beecham is typically a starter, but there's Ryan at the table. I got to believe he's coming in for Beecham. See if they can give him a spark on the defensive end.
At times, certainly of utmost importance for Notre Dame. Bacon with 15 on the shot clock. Nice pass cross court to Bell for 3. Florida State crashing glass, but it's all Notre Dame. 3-on-1. Vasturia punches it home. Check that.
Yeah, Burgett.
That was Burgett. My bad.
He took off. Yeah, he launched.
My bad.
He launched.
Hey now.
Yeah. It was a nice looking play.
AJ Burgett. Ten on this clock for Bacon. A contested 3. That isn't right. When you're that hot, it's hard to be humble sometimes. Bacon with 21 points. That's his 11th 20-point game of his freshman season. Got a hand in his face, too.
And going left. And going left. It's not easy to do.
Farrell. Pfluger just got it off in time. And here's Booker. Going to pull it out. They're going to run a little offense with 2.5 to go. This arguably might be the most complete game of the season for the Seminoles. Mass substitutions coming in for Florida State.
Dwayne Bacon, so impressive. Going left, rising up and knocking it down. Florida State rolling.
All right, Chris, tune in later tonight, folks, for an ACC showdown in college hoops. Bryce Johnson, North Carolina, taking on Virginia. Then in the NBA at 8:30 on ABC, Steph Curry and the Warriors at OKC taking on Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And Leonard Hamilton is giving everybody a little bit of burn right now. Saxton with the jumper, a 3-ball. And he's on the board. You know, you love to see guys develop. Saxton again, talking about Bryce Johnson in North Carolina. I remember watching him as a 16-year-old playing for South Carolina Raptors Elite on the AAU circuit. And it's nice to see him develop into the player that he's turned into right now. One of the top players in the country, Kerry.
Yeah, I think he was one of the leading candidates for ACC Player of the Year, along with Malcolm Brogdon. Certainly has helped to carry that North Carolina team.
And Mays out top. Beasley, as good as Bacon has been, Beasley has struggled again today shooting and forced to throw up a tough one at the end of the shot clock. But Saxton seemingly everywhere in the dying moments of this game. An appreciative round of applause from the crowd here in Tallahassee. Atan Mays with a step back. They have knocked down their 3-pointers today, 11-24 overall. And this symbolizes a little bit of hope for Florida State moving forward. A whistle and a foul called as Green will go to the free throw line. Well, tonight after Florida and LSU on ESPN SportsCenter at night with Levy and Briscoe. Have all the highlights from college basketball, the NBA, including the Warriors Thunder updates, NHL, and all the baseball action from spring training, NFL Combine, and a lot more. SportsCenter at night tonight after college hoops on ESPN, streaming live on the app. Nineteen seconds to go. Notre Dame with an ignominious distinction coming out of this game in Tallahassee. The 56 points will be their lowest season total of the year. 77-56 the final. That's our final score as Leonard Hamilton's crew improves to 17-12 and snaps their 5-game losing streak in a quality win against Notre Dame. Coming up next, Kansas State against Iowa State. But first, folks, for Carol Lawson, I'm Mark Jones. We're going to send it back to the studio with Chris Cotter, Andy Katz, and LaFonso Ellis. So long from Tallahassee.
Hold it because I don't have any place to clip it. How many points for Bacon?